How you doing?
Good, mate. Good. Very good, actually.
Good,
Yeah.
good. That's good to hear.
Yeah,
Man,
man.
it's so good to connect with you. I've been following you for a long time, and I've been a Leeds fan since Gary Monk, and so like that whole
Cool.
COVID season, it was just cool to watch you and Connor
Yeah.
and All Leeds TV yeah, and I saw you guys got yours. I saw you guys when you were bawling your eyes out during promotion. It
Yeah.
was cool
Yeah.
though, because um, I knew about the history of the club, and I was following the club. Obviously we had that decent season under Monk, and then like
Mhm.
with Christensen and Heckingbottom, and then God came in, and
Yeah.
it was so cool to watch that football, and literally it was so amazing that first year in the Premier League. Like you're isolated in your house or whatever with your family, and
Mm.
or some people are isolated by themselves and they can't really get together, but man, they could watch some beautiful football um you know in the Premier League with Marcel Bielsa. It was a really great gift. And so yeah, man, how did you get into the content creation game? Did you just fall into it? What happened there?
Yeah. So obviously, I've always like enjoyed football since before I can remember. Since like junior school, and then I got a season ticket at Leeds United, and was
Mm-hmm.
going week in, week out, and then the All Leeds TV had put a tweet out, I think, asking for people to contribute before the game. So obviously, I like the sound of my own voice, so I was like, right, I'll give this a go. So I met them before a game.
Mm-hmm.
It was just before, it was just after the Gary Monk season, actually,
Okay.
and the employment of Paul Heckingbottom. And yeah, I did that. And then, to be honest, at the time, it was maybe not as active as it was when me and Connor ended up going to work there, because it took a while for them to like upload the content. So
Sure.
I was always on the case, like, where is it? Where is it? So I think because of my enthusiasm for it, they asked if I would like to help out on a more permanent basis. So I started to just do videos in my spare bedroom, and then in my garage, and it just snowballed from there. And then, like you say, we got to the Premier League. We did a season with All Leeds TV, and then I just wanted to like get, I guess, control it myself, if that makes
Sure.
sense. So that's when I went and did the Just Joe football show. Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's a bit of a
Yeah.
dream, really, mate. To be
Yeah.
sat here now and doing it as a job, I guess.
Yeah. Well, you're the watch along goat, man. You're the goat. And the
Thank you, man,
hardest
in the
working
game.
content create man in the LUFC content creation world. There's no doubt.
Cheers,
And
man.
and you build you build, you're so community, I think, focused, which is really great from like
Yeah,
a fellow content creator. Like it's really nice that you bring in, other channels, and
yeah,
you want to hear different perspectives, and you like the
mm,
conversation. You don't mind a
yeah,
little bit of debate. You like the banter. So
yeah,
it's really
100%.
cool to see your channel and see your channel grow. And yeah, I mean, obviously you're one of my regular consumptions. Bring me back even further though. Like, how did you get into Leeds United? Is your whole family into Leeds United? Is it something like when I talked to Jeer and I talked to some other guys, like it goes from like like Ollie, like it was generation to generation? Is that how it is with you?
Yeah. I mean, my dad passed when I was young, so it was my mum's single parent with four boys, and one of my mum's early boyfriends, Craig, was a massive Leeds fan. I've got
Okay.
like I've still got the 91-92 championship winning like
Oh
shirt,
wow.
like the tops. I've even got a pair of the shorts, which is mad because they were just passed down. So yeah, they're really tiny now, I'll tell you that much. But yeah, so it was passed down for sure, but out of like me and my brothers, like for me it became a bit of an obsession. Does that make sense? Like
Mm-hmm.
um I felt the mad thing is when I went to Leeds United, like, and I felt a part of, which sounds deep, but I think the Leeds United fan base is pretty special in that respect. You know, I can go anywhere in the world and see a Leeds United badge and do the salute, and it just be synonymous, and people know what I'm talking about. You know, if you go Leeds, and you do the salute, so it just felt anyway like one big family for me. And I think as well, there's a little bit of, because we were so despised as well, like you sort of like lean into that as well. You know, everyone will go, oh, who do you spot? Dirty Leeds. Do you know, the amount of like ex-girlfriends, new people I'd meet, and they'd be like, oh, dirty Leeds. Do you know what I mean? And there's a sense of like, I don't know, when Leeds fans, you'll know yourself, you react to that. You're like, yeah, I'm what? We are. It's what it is, you know, but this is my it sounds corny, but it's like your religion, right? Football's so important to me, and it's been a big part of my life, mate, growing up. And like even at school, man, a lot of my mates were Manchester United, Liverpool fans, which is mad, but
because you grew up in Yorkshire, right?
Yeah.
You always say you're a Yorkshireman.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Halifax, so it's West Yorkshire. Okay. Not quite Leeds. You can't choose where you're from, can you? At the end of the day, but I love my hometown, and there is a lot of a certain generation anyway. There are a lot of Leeds fans that go to and from, but then again, there are Leeds fans everywhere. You know, I can be walking about Sunderland where I live now, and I can see Leeds fans. You know, but yeah, I'm a proud Yorkshireman, to be fair. Yeah, definitely. It's just, the thing is, like, when you're growing up in the school playgrounds and that, everyone just wants to support the big teams, don't they? You know what I mean? The Man Uniteds, the Liverpools, etc. I know we were considered when I was growing up one of the bigger teams, but they just have a totally different reach in some respects, don't they? But what I would say, them people, half of them have never been to a game ever in their life. Not that means anything, but my point is, they don't. Like my friends that are Man United fans, it doesn't hurt them like it hurts me and you when we lose a game. Do you know what I mean? They can just go about the day like it's nothing. Whereas for me, it really does wrangle me. Do you know what I mean? It affects my mood. I wish it didn't, but it does.
Yeah, no, I know exactly what you're talking about, because the games kick off. So I'm based in America, and the games kick off at 10 o'clock or sometimes 7:30 a.m. at least on the East Coast, and I'm just like the whole rest of the day I'm like, fucking Leeds, man, god damn it. I just like, how did they lose that game? It just gnaws at you. So it's a special club. Now you've been doing so much content. You've been doing the watch alongs, and those have been super successful. In fact, I don't listen to the commentary, the color, and the play-by-play. I mute it, and I turn you up, and I try to sync it. But sometimes it's difficult.
Yeah, it is.
But you have season tickets. You're a season ticket holder.
Yep.
Do you have any desire to get back into the ground at some point?
Yeah, it's really difficult because I do miss it. You know, I can't lie to you. Of course, I miss it. My friend who's in Hartlepool, we would go together. I know he's messaged me on a few times and said, I miss it, man. So it's a totally different kettle of fish being in the ground. And, you know, that Bielsa season was just phenomenal. After going for so many years with so much rubbish that we had to put up with. And it's mad, but I feel that this might sound really mad, but I've been thinking, of course I want to go back. You know, of course I want to go back. But ultimately, this has become my job now. So if I was to go to a game, I'd be losing money, and I've got to pay bills at the end of the day. Do you know what I mean? So it would cost me to get to the game, you know, i.e. to travel down there, to eat down there. I'd probably end up in the club shop, whereas now I'm at home. And of course you can't, you can never replicate being in the ground. And I've still got my season ticket, and my son's still on the wait list for his, because obviously there will be a time when I will return. That goes without saying. But at the minute, I'm doing this. But what I was going to say as well, sort of like Bielsa, in a way, I don't think I will ever feel like how I felt that season. I just wish that we'd have had the Premier League season not at COVID, because that had just been phenomenal. And I think, you know, I'm sort of glad that I didn't go when Jesse was in charge, because it had just been absolutely horrible. But now seeing as well as we are doing in the Championship, there is a little bit of me where I'm like, oh, I want to go again. But this is my job now. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I do miss it though, mate. You can never replicate if you could bottle the feeling like that you get when being at Ellen Road with the packed out crowd, you know. It's even when we played Man United. We played Man United in the second season under Bielsa, and they did beat us 4-2. But we scored 2 goals in quick succession. I think Rodrigo and Rafinha to bring it back to 2-2, and that feeling was right up there. It was right up there because it was just 2 goals in such quick succession, and to think we lost that game. It sounds a bit tin pot to recall on that sort of emotion. I'll never forget the Stoke game, when we turned up under Bielsa and played the best football I ever got to see live. Do you know what I mean? It was amazing. It was such a surprise. So, I do miss it, as you can tell, as I'm talking about these moments. Of course,
yeah. You'd have to prep your audience, and maybe, and then I don't know. You'd have to do can't remember. Lewis does a lot of them, but like
the vlogs,
a vlog. To kind of maybe make up the revenue, but yeah, that's really cool. I mean, and I've never been into the ground, so it does seem like kind of even though that was the last line of the article, was like it's a shithole, but it's our shithole, kind of thing. Gier says he goes when he comes up the stand, or he looks out on the stands, he goes, I can't believe I'm here. So it seems like just such a magical place. So you said you have a son, and he's on the waiting list. So you're kind of grooming your kids as well to hopefully be Leeds fans.
Yeah. Oh no, 100%. The mad thing is, like, I put my son on the wait list, and I put him on when he was born. Now my son's actually autistic, and can't deal with noise and stuff. So I don't know if that will ever come to fruition. You know, as a parent, you grow up, you think, oh, I'll have my boy, and we'll go to the football together and all this. And as it transpired, like my son just struggles in loud spaces, loud noises. But the mad thing is, my daughter Maisie, who's 10, she's football mad.
Really?
She's football mad. So it'll probably be her that'll take that ticket. The mad thing is, when we played Sunderland up here, in the league where they beat us 1-0, I got a text off her saying, I can't believe Leeds are playing Sunderland and you've not taken me. And I was like, I'm sorry, babe, I've got to work, but I will get you there, because I did take her sister Millie to a league game. We played Birmingham City, and she just didn't enjoy it. She hates football. It's not her thing. But Maisie's football mad, like, so. I'm thinking of taking her, to one of the youth games, where it's not going to affect the watch along and stuff, and just so she can experience it. She went to see the Lions, the English, the women's team up at Stadium of Light not too long ago. So I think she's going to be the one that's the football mad one, to be honest.
Oh, that's cool. Is she playing as well?
Yeah, she plays, mate. Yeah, that's all she got for Christmas was like football boots and football kits. So
that's cool.
Yeah, it's really mad, like, what the women's game has actually done for the young lasses. In, from when I was a kid, for example, I remember there was one lass who played football, whereas nowadays they're all playing it, aren't they? So it's great to see, mate, for sure.
Yeah, it's great to see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a 3-year-old, and we'll see. Like, he just, I'm already like trying to give him the football, or it's like, I don't know if he likes it.
Yeah,
he likes to color and draw, so I'm like, all right, I won't. Whatever your thing is.
Yeah, exactly. You can't force it, can you? As well, because I just think they'll just recoil from it if you do.
Yeah. And he's all about he's just always with a toddler, he's always struggling with like transitions. It's like I gotta really, there's if we go into like a bookshop, I gotta like really, it's like a hostage negotiation. Like I'm telling them like, hey man, like okay, we got like 5 minutes. Okay, we got 2 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna see this little timer on my thing. All right, and then even then, it's like, you got to do the old pickup job and get them out of there. Sometimes,
well, I had exactly the same issue today, mate. We have a little museum down here in Sunderland which has a dinosaur section, and he's been 100 times, but he just loves it. So I made the mistake of checking the timetable, and I was like, "Oh, it shuts at 5." I said, "Do you want to go see the dinosaurs?" He's like, "Yeah, we'll go see." What I didn't realise is that the building shuts at 5, but the actual exhibition shuts at 4. So when we got there, it was shut. So, he had a full-on meltdown. So I had to do the carry job as well. So, yeah, I can relate for sure.
Yeah, and people don't understand. It's like, hey, if you can put yourself in as a kid, like they just want to play.
Yeah,
they just want to constantly, you know what I mean? They don't understand the concept of time, and we're not doing that now. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So, all right, man. Well, let's talk about. I do want to say, because I just want to just talk about this one thing, and then we'll kind of get into like Leeds United present day. But
yeah,
Jesse, like, you call him the used car salesman. I call on Twitter. I put out after the Leicester City game, the first one, when everybody was like starting to see the failures, I think, of his system, because he was so there was no width, right? And so you could easily put in switch balls, and everyone was going, if Harvey Barnes scores this game, because he always scores against Leeds, and Jesse doesn't see that, then to me that was like a red flag, and I don't think he can evolve. And I actually called for his sacking after that game, but then I deleted it because I was like, I kind of pussed out and said, I'm not going to do it. But when was your first sign that, like, this guy is not the guy? Because we all wanted it to work out. 100%. I don't think, like, the USMNT fanboys and some of the Americans and some of it's just because he's American and it didn't work out. That's not true. I mean, everybody in Yorkshire, everybody that was a Leeds United fan truly, genuinely wanted it to work.
100%. I remember, so, and the videos are there to prove it. I remember the day after, the day after the season finished and Jesse was brought in and all this stuff, I did a video. I remember doing it, the American Revolution, and we were linked with Tyler Adams, you had Brendan Aronson, and I was like, let's go. I was all aboard, Team America, it was all a joke, but I was on board. Do you know what I mean? I was definitely on board. But I think the thing was for me, and I started to see signs the previous season, I think, but you're just elated to stay up. But the whole Rafinha at right wing back, Rafinha on Frozen. I remember I did a preview for the Chelsea game, not the one we won, the season before, and I said we've got no chance. I said this guy's playing players at a position and in just unfamiliar positions. So I'd already started to see things the previous season. I think that one of the things that really irked me as well was his. And maybe it is a little bit out of order to be calling him American car salesman, but it is just tongue in cheek, But I think he spoke a good game, but eventually when results weren't going your way and you're continuing to peddle the same rhetoric, it's like you're just lying to us now. We're not born yesterday. Every player's not the best in his class, and the whole. Sometimes I felt I had a lot of love towards Bielsa, of course, and I just think sometimes he took little pot shots where I was like, there's no need for that. So anyone who followed Bielsa was always going to struggle, but it was just so far removed from what we had previously that I just never could get on board. But I think, like you say, we all wanted it to work. No one wants to see their football team lose. Why would you?
Sure.
But unfortunately it didn't, and it's no surprise to me that he's now not working. I think he probably regrets not taking the Leicester and Southampton jobs, because he could have took them and still been working now. But yeah, I don't know. Is he expected to take a job anytime soon? I don't know.
I don't know. I think he's. The thing about it is, our coaching and our tactics are so far. They're decades behind, and there's been a couple of American coaches that have tried to make a run. I think Bradley, maybe.
Yeah.
I can't remember these guys, but basically, there's a big fear. There's a narrative is like once you leave Europe, you're not going back, and so now he's doing these this like color commentating for U.S. Like Champions League stuff, or he's doing like sideline reporting, and he knows. I think he knows if he goes back to America, he's not coming back. So I think it's either the championship or the MLS for him. And yeah, I just think, and I think there needs to be, I was telling Lockie this. I mean, he's a young kid and he's really tactically smart, and he has the ability to do this because he doesn't have any kids yet. But I mean, like, you could coach it. You could be an assistant coach here and become the head coach of like a college or university team very quickly.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think, and we're just not. Our coaches don't know the tactics. Like, they don't know the tactics. They're just kind of winging it. I mean, so I don't know. I just think, yeah, it was a shame, and it was a bad experiment that they did. I mean, there was a Canadian guy that I would talk to, a huge Leeds fan. He would say, this isn't the place for on-the-job training. And it's like, because it was always like, would he evolve? Will he figure it out? Is he gonna, And it's like this. He's like, this isn't the place to figure this out with the Leeds United in the Premier League. Like, this is a stupid idea. And he saw, like he saw some red flags early. Even after he took over Bielsa and the little slights that he had and the little stuff. So yeah. Anyways, we'll move on to present day. What do you think of the squad? What do you think of the first? How would you judge the first 4 months of the 49ers ownership?
I think it's been the 49ers ownership, you mean, of the new season, yeah?
Yeah, how would you judge the first 5 to 6 months of the takeover?
To be honest, initially I was frustrated because I felt that there was a lack of movement at times, but I was wrong to, and I'll hold my hands up and say I was wrong to be so scathing straight away. But I still had last season and the previous ownership weighing heavy on my mind, and they were a part of that. They may not have made all the decisions, but they were still within the room. But since they've come in and since the summer that we had, I think they've dealt with it really well. I think Daniel Farke's a great appointment. On any normal season, we'd be sat top of the table thinking, yeah, we've got this, but it just so turns out that we've come up against juggernauts in Leicester and a great start by Ipswich. But I don't think the promotion is over by any stretch of the imagination, if I'm being totally honest, Alex. I think we still have a big chance of getting promoted.
Yeah, you mean in the automatic place?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I still think we're in with a big shot of that. Some Leeds fans will write it off, but some Leeds fans were saying it'd be hard to catch Southampton and Leicester after 3 games. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, long way to go.
How are you judging Farke after his kind of first half of this season? How do you feel about him? Are you do you think he can do it in the Premier League?
Remains to be seen. That's the one thing I do hold any sort of opinion on, because history has showed us that he's not done it, but he's never been backed. But what I will say, 10, 15 games into the Premier League season, if we're languishing in the relegation zone and not going anywhere, then I would sack him, and I would be as savage as that. I don't think we can afford to give him time, which sounds a bit harsh, but the fact that he's been there twice before and failed miserably on both occasions shows there's a reason for that. But caveat being he hasn't been backed. If we back him and we're still seeing similar to results to what Norwich got, then you have to say, right, yeah, the Premier League's not for you, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. What do you think about his system? How do you judge that? Like, do you like his system? I
I
mean,
do,
I like it.
yeah.
Obviously, yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I like it as well. I think Leeds fans are a bit. To be honest, if I'm being honest, I'm quite surprised at the um, the amount of fans that don't and are saying it's boring football and all this. And I'm like, I'm not. If you're comparing it to Bielsa, yes, of course, but I don't understand it because I'm saying the same people who were frustrated at Farker were loving Jesse. I just don't understand it. I don't know what it is about Farker. I think, like I say, in any normal season, everyone would be okay. But because they see Leicester and Ipswich doing as well as they have been, it's almost like we're not doing well, when in actual fact we are. Of course, there are some, tactical nuances that he could change against low block sides. Because we've seen that seems to be the kryptonite. But ultimately, I think he's doing a great job, and I'm enjoying the football that I'm watching. We look what we did to Ipswich on both occasions. Look at the performance against Birmingham, Watford, Huddersfield. You can't tell me they're boring games. They're not by any stretch of the imagination. But we do need to see an improvement when we go up against teams that defend really well. And I'm hoping with the tactical switch of Rutter in the 10 and a 9, and then maybe some incomings in January, that we will start to see, him being able to break down these defensive teams for sure.
Yeah, I think he can be the 4-2-3-1 version of Klopp, 4-3-3. Like, I think the way he presses, the way they attack on the counter. I mean, obviously he doesn't have like the front three that Klopp has ever had. But,
no.
I think that's where he's like his desire is, because when you sometimes look at Liverpool, like they'll possess the ball quite a bit, against some of the lower teams, but and a lot of times they don't really care about possession.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like this mixed German style, but also, I don't know, very like good on the counter and getting balls into positions where, they're intercepting the ball high up the pitch and they can get a really good, chance. So
yeah, they're great in transition, aren't they, Liverpool? They are great in transition, which is an area of the game that we are. Do you know what I mean? And I think it all stems from, like you say, the Gegen pressing style, and Klopp did initially come over with that, but then obviously had to make little tactical tweaks here and there. And I think that's where Farker has maybe been. Has he let himself down a little bit with that Norwich side in not making them tactical switches and still being, so open? I remember when he would play that Liverpool side, I think they beat him like 6s and 7s each time, and Suarez scored like 4 goals. I remember he always scored loads against Norwich, but there are, little tweaks that he does need to make that Klopp made, and now look at Liverpool and look how good they are under him, right? So. Yeah, listen, I think it's heavily influenced by Jurgen for sure, that German style, yeah.
What do you think of the incomings? What's on your wish list for this window?
I would like a left back. See, I'm okay with right back, and I know people hate that, but I like Gray there, and I will back Gray there. Should we get one? Yeah, but I don't think it's as needy as, say, a left back is, just due to injuries to Firpo and Byram. I think we need a 10. But then again, now that Rutter's in the 10, is it as... Maybe not. Maybe we don't, if we can keep Rutter fit. I'd like an improvement in the 9, but then again, that's... How will Pirro get on in the 9 now that he's going to be played there, you hope? So, yeah, I think left back's key. It was 10, but I would argue left back's the most important for me. But I would like to see as many in as possible, I can't lie, because I just want to see us get over the line this season and be back in the Premier League.
Last question. The 3 kind of legends at the club right now. I mean, Ayling, Bamford, Cooper. What do you want to see happen with those guys? In a way, maybe. I mean, Ayling's back in the fold now. Spence is out. I mean, he could be playing this weekend. But how do you want to see those guys be treated here in this window?
I think if we bring in a right back, I think Luke Ayling would be silly not to take a move to Borough, because they'll offer him, longer term than what Leeds will. I don't think Leeds are going to offer him a new deal anyway. So if we get a right back in, then leave, and he goes for my blessing. Cooper, I think there's a possibility they might give him another year. People don't agree with it, but I think, just because of the numbers we've got there, just because of the numbers and having a bit of experience. Listen, he might be fourth choice, but you need a fourth choice, don't you? With Bamford, he's still got a few years on him yet. So if someone came in for Bamford, I would sell him, but I don't see anyone coming in for him. So yeah, I think. Yeah, when their time comes, Luke Ayling and Cooper could be this year maybe, and like I said, they'll go with my blessing, and I'll be fond about the memories that they've given us, for sure.
Yeah, I did a little thing last night. Bamford's just so weird. Like, I was just so ready to sell him, and now, he played. I mean, I know Birmingham's a bad team, but there's just something about the way that he plays the number 9 position, and the patience that you have to have, not getting the ball, being the last man in the box, and not being frustrated and dropping deep, and always occupying those 2 center backs, so the wingers can come in. I mean, it's just old school, but another guy said the one thing he's elite at is his movement. I think maybe you said
100%. Yeah, I've said
that's his thing.
Yeah, I think his movement is in me. I was going to say it as you was talking. I think his movement's so good. Dragging centre backs left and right. This is the thing, right? Strikers are judged by goals. A lot of fans, especially when it's now, on social media, and that's what a lot of us see, especially on X or Twitter, whatever you fancy. Is that, he's not good enough, but they don't see all them things that he does. Do you know what I mean? You don't see them things. We don't score. Well, maybe we do. It's Birmingham, but he has an aid in that without actually touching the ball. Do you know what I mean? With the way that he drags players. That's why I am actually excited to see him when we do go up against a low block side, because I think he will create space for the other players with which to operate in, which we haven't seen this season, because I think that Rutter doesn't have the intelligence of Bamford in being able to do that, and Pirro can be static in the 10. So if you switch that around and have Bamford leading the line, then it could look totally different. And I do think he is underappreciated, but at the same time, I also think he probably could do with a clean break. I'm not advocating keeping him and getting a new deal and all this, but I just think he is underappreciated for sure.
Mate, when your Bamford goal reaction last week was incredible. When you're like, I'm calling, because everyone's like, Bamford to score, Bamford hat trick and coming, and then it's like he actually scores, and you're like, I told you, it's just like it's hilarious. So, man, keep doing what you're doing. I really appreciate.
Thank you so much, man.
And anybody that comes to be into Leeds United, it is a huge. One of the things the article said yesterday was that it is a big club in America. You can see that, like, people are starting to take. It wasn't just the fad of the American players, but it's a big club. Like, when people do research about it, one club city, historic stadium, historic club, like, you can see that, it is growing. And so when they go and do research, you're one of the places that come up. So just appreciate you. Keep doing what you're doing, man. And thanks so much for joining me.
No, not a problem. Thank you so much for having me, man. And like I said, we'll get you on the show soon enough, mate. Whenever you're free, we'll make that happen.